So this conversation is for you if you have made your human design chart and you have found out that you are a manifestor, or you're here to find out more about your friends and family who are manifestors themselves. So welcome to Human Design, and let's speak about what it is to be a manifestor and how to align with the flow of your life. So right now, if you've first come to Human Design, you might feel some of the following. You might feel annoyed that things aren't working out the way that you imagined, perhaps. Angry that you can see what needs to happen, but people keep getting in your way. Irritated that things aren't happening around you without your involvement. Misunderstood by the people around you, distant from those around you. Powerless or not fully in your power. Waiting for things to go your way. Waiting for the right person to come into your life, or the right people, or the right job to come along. Burnt out from working all the time. Confused why people see you so differently and treat you differently than other people around you. And confused as to why some people seem standoffish, cold, distant, or scared of you in work, family, or friends capacities. Now, truly, manifestors are here to initiate and make things happen. You're here to feel at peace that you're moving in your own direction. But so many of you are sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Waiting for the love of your life to ask you on a date. Waiting for your job to give you the promotion. Waiting for someone to ask you to go on holiday or vacation. Waiting for someone to give you permission for a day for yourself. And while you're waiting, you're getting angry. Angry that the person hasn't asked you out. Angry that you're not feeling in alignment, or angry that you expect someone else to initiate this alignment for you. And you're going to be tired because you've submitted the productivity cycle of society and burning yourself out. You try to keep up with everyone else, to fit in and to be understood, to be accepted, and to not feel distant from everyone else. You may be interested to know that much of human design for manifestors is about getting you to stand in your own power and to inform people of what you want rather than waiting or asking. You're here to know what it is that you want and go and get it. You're here to do those things regardless of the impact it has on others around you. However, there are ways to soften this. We'll speak through these. So firstly, I wanted to give you some permissions. You are here to feel at peace with your life and the projects and the jobs and the relationships which you are in. You are here to step into the burning power you feel inside of you, which you've been keeping small for so long. You're not here to feel angry or have outbursts because you feel like others don't understand you or are getting in the way. You're here to move past those pushbacks of others. You are protected by your aura. You're here to lead your own path and initiate your own way. Does that feel freeing to hear? Or is there resistance coming up? Now, let's look at why you became so conditioned and why it has led to burnout, anger, and resentment. When you think about a manifestor growing up, you were very, very different. Manifestors are only 9 or 10% of the world. And your aura is designed to be very, very different than everyone else's on this planet. The first thing you do when you land on planet Earth is you are held by your caregivers. Yet the manifestor aura is already giving off a sense of separateness and independence. Your aura is designed to repel and to be closed to others. And this is because you're a born leader of your own life. And some of you manifestors are here to be born leaders of groups of people. Your aura is there to protect you in this move through life, so you can initiate your way through without the bogging down of other people's pushbacks. But now back to those caregivers. Your caregivers would have noticed a difference. They would have felt a difference, especially when you started to grow up. Manifestors tend to be seen as rebellious or doing their own thing. And manifestors tend to do their own thing and not tell anyone they're doing it or they're about to do it. So you as a child may have wanted to wear certain styles of clothes or wanted to do a particular after school activity, or you may have wanted to be friends with certain people or not friends with other people. And there was something inside of you that didn't think that this was wrong or strange. You just knew this is what I want, and you saw no reason for it to hold you back. So manifested kids tend to go play in the garden by themselves. They'll go crawl off, or they'll walk off and sit in the garden playing with their toys or whatever it is. The problem is their caregivers did not know where you were. So when they found you, you'd get into trouble. You weren't understood. You couldn't understand yourself what the issue was. So the resentment builds and the anger builds. Because to you, the garden was peace. You wanted to go into the garden. And you going into the garden gave you that peace. However, your caregivers telling you that you couldn't was getting in the way of that peace. So you'd get angry. All the issue was here was that you didn't inform. And it shocked your caregivers. They got worried and they said no to you. If you are a caregiver to a manifestor, teach those manifestor kids to ask for permission. That's the aim for manifestor children, to ask for permission. And always say yes to them unless there is a real reason to say no. Let the manifestor kid do what it is they feel it is they need to do, unless there is a real reason to say no. So in this process, there can be anger that builds with manifestors. And it's not understood by their caregivers because it's not the usual way for a child to behave, because it's not the other 90% of the population. You are a completely different energy type with a completely different aura. Now, the truth is, manifestors are here to have an impact on the world. But the dichotomy is that manifestors don't realize the impact on the world or the impact on other people. So they can get angry and not realize how hurtful or impactful their actions are. Manifestors can, in fact, try harder to have an impact so they feel noticed, to try and make their point. As you move through childhood, you would have learned that you couldn't do whatever it is that you wanted to do. Or when you did, there was pushback. You would have had to realize that people didn't understand you or see you as a leader. Family relations can be affected by this. Later on in life, this would have transgressed into playing small and fitting in, putting your head down and being productive. Feeling inside what you wanted to do, but too scared to break out of the mold. You were taught not to be in your power, to not lead with your power, to not trust your inner guidance. Now, enough of explaining why and how manifestors are the way they are. What about what you are here to be? Manifestors are here to be leaders of their own lives. Powerful to differing degrees of that word, and led by your inner feelings or knowings or desires, and we'll talk through each of these a little bit later on. You're here to lead your life. You are here to have profound impact on other people and initiate them into all kinds of directions. It was a human design manifestor that initiated me into this system of human design. She had no idea at the time of the impact she had on me by initiating me into this human design world. It was a manifestor who initiated me into my business. And a couple of other manifestors initiated me into friendships and holidays and all of this. In fact, I've been so grateful for the manifestors who have crossed my path. They have each had a profound impact that they cannot even fathom. Many people find manifestors to be scary or distant, even distant if you're sitting right next to them. However, I have a true fondness for manifestors, and I want you all to be able to step into your power. That doesn't mean brash power or not caring about people power. It's a pure power when used in the right way. It's an innocent power in some ways. It's an inner strength and a trust in yourself. That's what I want you to be able to access. You are here to feel peace in your life and in the things that you initiate. Now, that feeling of anger doesn't go away, by the way. That's not your aim. Anger is a sign that something is getting in the way of your peace. It could be a person or a circumstance. It could be because you're placing your attention on trying to initiate something that you don't truly want. It could be the wrong thing for you. It could be because you can only plant the seeds with people, but you can't control them. And maybe you're trying to control them. You might feel anger because someone else is trying to control you. That's just not going to work. The bottom line is, you are here to feel peace. It's not about trying to get rid of anger from your life. That's not possible for a manifestor. But it's about getting a better balance between the two. There is much about a manifestor that wants to have impact. And for you, your type question is, what impact am I having? Or how am I impacting? It's going to really help you align by bringing your awareness here, having conscious awareness over the ways that you are having impact on others for good or for bad. Whether that's the mailman or the dog walker in the park, or your boss or your best friend or a family member. It's being able to see, looking back, the impact you've had on others' lives, big or small. The next step after that is to be able to see what impact you're having on others right now, in this moment, directly around you. And then it's about preempting that impact before you make a decision, thinking of every single person it would affect. So much of a manifestor's anger is caused by people being shocked by your impact, and they just needed to be warned. That's so they could pave the way for you, or to move out of the way for you, so that you could step onto the path that you know is right for you. But they just needed to know. It's interesting for manifestors, every other type has a process to help them align, but yours is optional. You do have to step into your own power, and you step into your own inner strength and initiate. But your strategy to help your alignment is optional. That is, you have to inform. But that isn't to help you align. That is to help other people align. Or for them to move out of your way so that you can align. It's to help other people on that path. Because when you help other people by informing them, it makes your life easier. Because there's less pushback, therefore less anger for you. So how do you align with this peace in your true path? I need you to know that your life will look different than anyone else's around you. You have to be okay with being different and knowing yourself. You have to be okay with following that path, and no one else can do it for you. What is great about manifestor alignment is that you often know exactly what needs to happen, but you're waiting on something, and you don't need to do that anymore. You simply need to make a different choice. So many manifestors know what they need to change. They know what they need to get rid of. They know what they need to bring in. But they have all these reasons for not making the change. You are keeping yourself stuck. There is no other way to put it. You have access to manifesting power, and very few people in this world actually have access to that. You have access to everything you need for your alignment. In this process of aligning, you do need to watch your energy levels. You have energy, yet it will burn out. It is inconsistent energy. It works in bursts. You have to factor in rest into your schedule. You have to factor rest into your life journey. You're not here to be as productive as everyone else around you. So my questions for you are, what are you going to change? And which new steps are you going to take towards that inner pulling? There are 3 things I want you to become very consciously aware of. Firstly, I want you to become aware of your inner knowing about what you want and where you want to go. Secondly, I want you to become aware of the things which stand in your way, which are causing you anger. And thirdly, I want you to become aware of the people your future decisions are going to have an impact on. I want you to start informing people before you make a move. I want you to notice the difference informing has in your life. I want you to start moving away from the blockers and the anger. Move around it. You don't have to push against it. I want you to start aligning more with your inner strength and power. I want you to honor your different process of energy and rest when you need to. When you have the energy, initiate. But when you don't, rest. And you're going to need to surrender here. You're going to need to see how informing only helps your process of moving towards what you want. The challenge for a manifestor is breaking out of the mental conditioning which you have received, the conditioning which is keeping you small and playing safe. I also want to really clarify here that when I mention manifestor power and stepping into it, it doesn't have to be dictatorial, brash, or bold. There are so many different types of power, and you will know yours from the feeling within. It can be soft, it can be innocent, it can be not brash. You may also be wondering, well, how do I know what I want? And what can I trust within me to guide me? How do I know what I want to initiate? Firstly, you're initiating all of the time. You're having impact all of the time without even realizing it. However, here's what you can trust. If you have the emotional solar plexus defined in your chart as a manifestor, so that's if the triangle on the right-hand side is colored in, you have the emotional authority. You are an emotional manifestor. You will find clarity over time. You must watch and wait before you initiate. You must feel into your feelings over time. You have to decide on whichever option that you're assessing is most consistent for you. Which side of the options is best for you? What's the feeling around this? You might want to wait a couple of days before initiating in that direction, or a couple of weeks, or even a couple of months. The longer time you wait, the more sure you will be. But you will never, ever be 100% sure. Some days you will doubt and question yourself, but you will feel one way more than the other way. And that is what you should initiate. That is your inner guidance. If you have a splenic authority, so you don't have the solar plexus defined and your triangle on the left-hand side is colored in, you have splenic authority. You must make your decisions based on your inner knowing in the moment. You are led in a moment-to-moment way. You must incorporate flexibility into your day. A way of doing this, for example, is if you're freelance, you could add a caveat to your calendar that says, I reserve the right to cancel or rearrange the appointment within 20 minutes notice. You must be led with your inner knowings in the moment. You must not follow logic here. Feel into your body. Don't ask why, just trust that instinct. It will guide you. It will keep you safe. If you have neither of these two centers defined, you are an ego manifestor. You are here to make decisions over time based on your pull of desire, waiting over time for your desire to build, and only initiating once it's clear that you have the energy for that thing and it is what you're wanting to do for your best interests. Follow your desires. Initiate in the spike of your energy release. Rest when it's not there. For next steps, do listen to more of these videos or book on for your own reading to find out more specific information than your chart. We'll speak next time.